I call this regular meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners for the date of Wednesday, February 7th, 2024, in the City Council hearing room, Government Center, at 5:32 p.m. This meeting's being held on government television, and is it Greg Salvatore?
Yeah.
Yep. Is doing the recording here. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledgeable and permissible. Roll call of commissioners.
BJ McDonald.
Amber Burns.
Helen Riga?
Joseph De Silva. Commissioner Farris is running late, I believe. Citizen input. Was there any citizen input?
No.
No citizen input mailed, nothing, no sign up.
Nope.
Okay. Acceptance of the minutes from the December 6, 2023 regular Park Board
Motion
meeting.
Right. Motion
Second.
to accept.
Motion was made by Commissioner Rego, seconded by Commissioner Burns. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item A, new business. Item A, request from Michelle Hamilton, the Veterans Officer, events to be held at the Veterans Memorial Bicentennial Park, Duval Street, on Friday, March 29th at 1 p.m. I know we have a couple of letters here in our packet for item A.
Nancy, you have everything you need from them?
Yes. There's the okay from the veterans agent. She is okay with approving the March 29th. There's a September date on that she'd like to hold out on. So, but the March 29th can move forward.
I have no issue. Make a motion to approve.
Nancy, I just want to reflect the agenda says 1 p.m. Everything else is 10 a.m.
She said 1, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe
All
they-
The schedule in here
attachments
says,
10.
the schedule in here says 10 a.m. and it looks like it's done by 1.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
So either way, we'll work out the time, but as the date, as long as the board approves it, I'll
Yep.
work out the date with her.
Okay.
I mean, the times.
Any other questions? Commissioner McDonald made that motion,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Burns. All in favor, say aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Item B is a request from John Patello, permission to replace a scoreboard at Kennedy Park Middle Street. Do we have any questions? Mr. Patello is here. You want to call him up or anything?
I'll do all of
Last
that.
year, we replaced one on a smaller field. Permit was pulled by the
John,
mayor.
why don't you come up to the table, please? Just state your name and your title.
John Patello, I'm the president from Federal Little League at Kennedy Park. We did replace one already. The money was raised, and we replaced the one on a smaller field. The same lady that had the fundraiser for the last one is doing another fundraiser. I mean, it's for the league, everybody's involved, March 9th, and we plan on replacing the one on a bigger field. A licensed electrician, the permits are pulled, everything is done legit. That's the way we did it last time.
Perfect. As long as that, yeah, as long as there's a contractor and we don't have, everything's on the insurance and everything, we're good. I have no issue.
And they'll work with Mrs. Smith too, so.
Perfect.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rego, second by Commissioner Burns. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. guys.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Good luck with the fundraiser.
Thank you.
All right. Item C is a request from Mayor Coogan to use Veterans Memorial Park Duval Street for a fishing clinic in partnership with the Fall River Police Department on April 6th, 2024, from 4 to 6 p.m., rain date being April 18th. I know they did this last spring or summer as the first trial thing, and it was a big success, so I know they wanted to do this again, so it is a partnership with the police department, and they have some kids going down there fishing with the police officers and other folks that's there, so.
Okay.
Do I have a motion? Any questions from commissioners?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Rego made that motion, seconded by Commissioner McDonald. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Oh, wait. Commissioner Farris is here now, so we do have a full commissioner on board. Just if you want to get to item D. I'm gonna be silent. Just let him settle in for a minute. That's item D. Oh, okay. Well, that's you have your agenda, so you can go with it. Just pull it out. Okay. Item D is a petition from forwarded to the Park Board from the Traffic Commission regarding parking and charter bus situation at Maplewood Park Drive, Stafford Road. Item D is a petition from the Maplewood Traffic Resolution, and I know it has 41 signatures. We have a bunch of different pictures with different stuff saying on it. I'm gonna let Commissioner McDonald handle this, start off with this, because Commissioner McDonald and myself went up there to check this out, because obviously only two of us can go, because then there'd be a quorum if we had more than two. But Commissioner McDonald played a big part in this, and then I met him there, and we'll take it from there. But
Yeah, so, Nancy, this was forwarded to the Park Board, for Park Drive within Maplewood Park, every day, every morning and every afternoon, to pick up kids and bring them to the Atlantis Charter School. And there's, the way that it's currently constructed, there's a couple different buses, they're staggered in the morning, and there's a few buses staggered in the afternoon. What's different about what happens with Atlantis Charter School is they drop the whole bus load off at once. So you've got 30 kids getting off the bus on Park Drive after school. Their parents are there waiting for them. They get in the cars and they drive away. So when this petition came in, this complaint came in, Nancy and I went down there, drove around. There's the parking lot in the back. It was suggested maybe the parking lot in the back might be a better spot, but I don't think that that's feasible. The access road to the parking lot in the back is too narrow to fit cars, and you'll have cars parking. I think, given the circumstances and given the situation, the use of Park Drive is probably the best solution at this point in time. The way the buses pull up, they stop at the beginning of Park Drive. All the kids get out. The bus is in the middle of the drive, so no cars can get out. All the kids get out, their parents are there waiting for them, and the parents bring the kids to the cars. So it's probably the safest way to do this. I had, and I think Nancy did as well, a couple of different conversations with Bob Beatty, who's the executive director of the school. We notified him of the complaint. He actually met Joey and I down there one afternoon so we could see it for ourselves, what's going on and how we might be able to help. I think given what this board's powers are, I don't really see an alternative solution to what goes on over there. The school is a little bit handcuffed by some of the access to the school, you know, they're prohibited from parents are prohibited from parking and driving on Dickinson Street, which is one access. You only can get in on Jefferson Street. So to alleviate some of the bottleneck down by the school, they've created this system where they bus kids and they drop them throughout the city. There's Maplewood is one, Kennedy Park is another, and I think it's Bicentennial is the other. So that's what's happening right now. I think that there's probably, as far as this board is concerned, with what happens at Maplewood Park, I don't see, and I think Joey agreed with what he saw, there's really a safer or better way to do it. The kids get off the bus, their parents are there waiting for them, and at that point, it's up to the parents to escort them safely to the cars.
And I'm just gonna give a little history lesson with their charter school. When they first proposed building that school, we have all the documentation, Ms. Smith requested it from Allison, the city clerk. When they first proposed building that school down there, they had public safety meetings, everything, because the neighbors down there did not want them accessing Dickinson Street and everything, using that. So that access road is only supposed to be for emergency vehicles only, not for anybody to be exiting and everything else. When the school finally did get built, now you have another neighborhood, which was all Jefferson Street, Kennedy Street, and that, because the traffic was all backed up from a charter school all the way down to Brighton. You blocked that whole neighborhood in. So to now, they thought this was the safest way. They asked previous administrations if they could have 3 or 4 locations. The other thing, by state law, the city of Fall River would have to pay for transportation for charter schools. Atlantis Charter provides their own transport. They spend $4 million of their own money to pay for them buses. If we're really gonna get in this situation now and have them, they put this on the taxpayers now. I don't think a lot of taxpayers are gonna be too happy that now there's another $4.5 million that the city has to come up with.
So it's been a long-standing kind of relationship going back probably 10 or 15 years, I think even before the school was built.
Yep.
They were doing things like this to try to alleviate some of the traffic concerns within the school. So they're the only school doing it, but they're also one of the largest charter schools probably in the state. So it's a tricky situation as far as the park board is concerned. Their utilization of Park Drive, I mean, I timed it from the time that first. The bus pulls up at 2:45, I mean, the area is clear by 2:52. You know, we're talking a 10-minute span where the bus pulls up, the kids get out, their parents then escort them to the car. I think that it's up to the parents to make sure they're getting the kids to the car safely. The people that are parked within Park Drive are acting safely, but the bus stops at the beginning of Park Drive. So once the bus pulls up and all the kids are getting off, there's no traffic moving on Park Drive. Everybody that's there is not moving until, so that's, you know, one of the things that I think works well. It's hard for us to, I mean, if anybody wants to go down there and look at it, I don't know of we were kind of
So-
spitballing ideas, but
Yeah, so question, because I'm a little confused. What are they doing now?
that's what they're doing now.
That's what they are
So
doing.
then people aren't happy with that?
That's what this complaint is.
I think
Okay.
before the buses were going halfway down the
Gotcha.
drive,
Yep.
Okay.
so.
So they
I
try
did
to
have
get
a
around the bus and kids
conversation
are getting off.
to
and I
move it
think-
to the top of the drive, and
Gotcha.
from what the conversations I've had in the morning, it's not as bad, because the people stagger in. You might drop off your kid at 7:20, and someone else might come in at 7:25, because the bus stays there, we'll say, from 7:15 to 7:30. So it's not a drop of 30 kids. The problem is when it was the afternoon. And my understanding is the buses used to go further down the drive, which allowed the parents that parked behind them to go around them, which created a dangerous situation. So my understanding of this is that the buses have been moved to the top of the drive, and the cars are not allowed to go by them, all the cars are ahead of them.
And they can't
as-
fit
as
anyways,
BJ
'cause
said,
there's cars on both sides.
it's up to a parent to get out of your car and make sure your child is safely getting from the bus to wherever. I think, the board has done due diligence going out there. I think at this point, can we continue to monitor it and see if there's issues? I think a lot of the issues are out of the park board's hands, like if traffic violations are happening or, you know, different things are happening, then that's not
Yeah.
our concern. I think in the end, you know, we monitoring it, but is us doing due diligence, and if down the road something else comes up, then we can deal with that again, or, you know, maybe it has to go to the school department to decide, you know, what are we gonna do with, can they afford buses, can they
Well,
whatever?
and the
because
other piece of it that I don't think we really have much control over is some of the cars, like some part of the
Yeah.
complaint is some of the cars that may or may not be parked on Park Drive kind of regularly. I don't think that that's something we're gonna stop monitoring, you know,
Yeah.
who's parked there when, you know, there, you have houses on Stafford Road, there's no parking on Stafford Road, so I think there's probably some people parking there,
I know,
which,
And
I mean,
all
that's what it's
closed
there
at
for.
night. It's not
Yeah.
closed during the day.
Well, for parking, you could
Well,
probably,
we don't
No,
quote,
it's-
we don't actually, we don't have a chain that goes across that drive.
Well, technically, with the
Right.
sign.
Well, that
so
sign is
that's-
down because that's an old sign, and it said that it closed at 11, and all our parks closed at 5, and, I mean, at 9, and I had to go to the ordinance committee a while back with Lieutenant, I think he was Lieutenant, I don't remember, but Bernier, the rule, if it was at, after 9, they'd go, oh, well, the city ordinance says it's open till 11, and so we finally coincided, both of them, by he and I going to ordinance years back. The Park Drive is used for Maplewoods baseball games. They're there till 10:30, 11 o'clock. And I will tell the board that there are some issues with, there's a tow truck. I've reached out to them because there's a tow truck from across the street or
Right.
someone visiting a business. That's an actual huge tow truck with a car on it, and it was there for like 2 days. So I did have traffic reach out to them, had the Fall Police reach out to them, so we
so
can
those are the
continue
things I think
monitoring
we'll
those
continue
things.
to monitor. The school is aware, you know, like when Joey and I went out there, the executive director of the school was with us.
Yep.
You know, they said, you know, if you want us to go in the back, we can go in the back. But,
That's-
you know,
I think that'd be worse.
we drove through there and like, I think that would,
That's a narrow road, and then, not only that, I also told him if there was like parents speeding out of there with other kids walking, like we said, it's up to the parents to get out of the car. But he even said that if we needed him to have some of his staff go there, the police, or just send out a notice to parents, you need to slow down. While kids are getting off, everybody wait their turn and then leave. Well, I know, what he has said, the bus, that's, cause it's, from kindergarten to high school. These buses are only from K to 5.
yeah, the middle school and the high school use the regular SARTA buses.
SARTA
So
buses.
while we were there, like after the elementary school buses, you know, they left, we were standing there talking kind of, all right, is there anything else we can do? The SARTA bus pulled up and, you know, you get 3 or 4 middle school or high school kids, they get off, but that bus stays on Stafford Road because
Yep.
it's a city bus, it's running the city route.
Yep.
But the difference is they're not the
Small.
school's solution to the bottleneck issues that they've had within the school's footprint are to utilize these different drop spaces throughout the city. So I think it's outside of this board's purview to say you can't use Park Drive anymore.
Did you talk to the guy who put the complaint in?
I have not,
The
no.
gentleman's right here.
Okay,
That's what it is he okay with this
Do you
system?
wanna come up?
I'd like to put some input.
Yep, come on.
sure.
I didn't sign up, but.
Just state your name
State your name
and
and.
address.
Name is David Wood. I live on 145 Blackstone Street, Fall River. I talked with Nancy about this, and I talked with the city council. I came to the traffic council meeting, talked with them. My input on it, as far as a solution, like we said, the buses, you know, I'm there every afternoon, every morning.
Yep.
Morning's not a problem. They're staggered. You get one car drop off, 2, they're gone. You get another car drop off, 1, they're gone. Afternoon, everybody shows up. You got them parking both sides of Park Drive. You got them parking on the narrow drive going into the back parking lot. You got them parking on the side road that goes down beside Ciabra. You got people walking across the street from the other side of Stafford Road. And the problem that I've seen several occasions where kids have almost gotten hit. I mean, I'm old-fashioned. When I go to pick my child up, I hold her hand. I make sure that she gets to the car and gets in. Most of the parents don't do that nowadays. They're like this. Walking to the car, the kids are doing whatever they're doing. So we can't put the responsibility on a parent that's not responsible. But I think the simple solution to the whole thing is a couple, but just provide, it doesn't, talk to her about it, doesn't have to be permanent parking spots at the beginning of the drive. Have a temporary sign, have cones, something to put in there. Make the buses park at the very beginning. That way all the cars will be in front of it.
That's
Kids
what
get
they're
off
doing out
the
there.
bus.
That's what they did the day I was
that's what they were
there.
doing
They
the
do
night,
it today. I've never seen them do it, ever.
the day that we were there, that's what they did.
That's what they did. Both
Normally-
buses that pulled up were right at the beginning of the drive.
Normally,
right
you
at
know
the
the two
beginning.
big elm trees that are there?
Yeah.
Or maple trees? The two big ones, the one right in the middle of the drive is where usually the first bus parks, and then the other one parks behind him. So there's 10 or 15 cars behind him. I mean, every day. I can take pictures every day if you want, bring them in.
So what we can do is,
We can
if
go.
you wanna call him, was it Mr. Beatty?
Beatty, yeah.
Beatty,
Beatty,
yeah.
let him know.
Have you spoken to Mr. Beatty from the school?
No, I have not. Only piece, like the two committee meetings, the only ones I spoke to.
Okay.
But a temporary, no parking, bus parking only from 2:30 to 3
Well, we don't want to put
I
bus.
just like the idea of the bus being in the middle of the drive, because if they start pulling over, now you've got people that might try to go around them. Whereas when if they're stopping, and in the day I was there, the bus stopped in the middle of the drive. There was cars parked on both sides, but nobody that was parked. If there was anybody behind the bus, they couldn't get down that road until the bus pulled away.
More times than not, I've seen cars that are parked beside the buses when they stop. Before the buses leave, they'll pull away. And then the ones in the back, they'll sneak out and they'll sneak around. I've seen them pull off, go across the sidewalk, go down on Stafford Road. And the other problem you have too, and I don't know how can they eliminate this, but you got 40-some cars in there with people in trying to get out. And that like 5-way split at Ciabra. You got Stafford Road both ways. You got Park Avenue going out there, then you got that side road going out.
So I think what you're saying is more an issue for the school rather than this board, because what you're saying is when they exit that, it's like a 5-way. So that's something that maybe
like- it's
what
like a
Mr. Beatty
NASCAR
is
race
saying, they
going
can
down.
have their people monitor that. Maybe they need to monitor it at the exit.
Yeah,
And
or-
we can certainly let him know about that and
Yeah.
what
I mean,
your
if
concern
the
is.
figures you say are right, they're spending $4 million a year on buses. What's a police officer cost for an hour a day? Yeah.
Sure.
It's kids' lives. That's all they're
Yeah.
worried about.
No, and
We
I don't
might-
want you
we
to
might
think
be
that we
able- we
didn't, we're just trying to push this
No,
aside,
no,
because
I'm
we
not. I
spent the
just-
time, we did go down and
Yeah,
we,
I
we.
saw-
On
we-
multiple
I saw
days.
them.
we
Yeah.
talked about, like, there was a similar issue years back when Nancy worked with Mr. Beatty the city cut out the curb down at the bottom, I don't know what street that is on Kennedy.
Yeah, Bradford Ave.
Bradford Avenue.
On Bradford Ave at the bottom there, on the main drag, they cut out the side so that the kids are getting off and they're on the sidewalk, so it's almost like like you would with a city bus, or you would in the neighborhood. So the kids get off the bus and they're on the sidewalk, and from there. So, we kicked around that idea too, but Stafford Road, there's no parking, so now you're talking about cutting into sidewalk on Stafford Road and moving this 30 kids, 40 kids, however many kids, from the park drive where nobody's should be really zipping through to a main drag like Stafford Road, and now you're talking about curb cuts and all these other things. I don't know if that's,
Talk with the school and have them park at the very beginning. They're not
Yeah.
doing it. They're not doing it.
So
I mean,
that's
I'm
what
there
we
every
can-
day.
We can definitely tell them
Yeah,
that
we
they
can,
have to
I mean,
police
and if the
that.
board wants to send a letter to the school that we've gone there, we are asking that the buses park at the very beginning of the drive
Yep.
to alleviate any cars passing and creating a safety situation. The board can certainly
Yeah.
do that, send it to the school, so we have it on record as to what we're asking. So if this gentleman comes and they go, well, no one ever told us that's where we should park, at least we'll have that as far as our research, our due diligence of, we've gone there, this is what we saw, and we would like that to continue to happen, because otherwise it
And,
could create a
The other,
situation,
the
so.
other suggestion you're saying about the bottleneck and getting out of Park Drive, maybe we can talk to Mrs. McCarthy from traffic.
I don't think she's gonna be able to send an officer there every day, that's the thing.
Well, I
This is
would
every
say-
day at a certain time, and I
And
think
it's a
they're done.
15-minute,
Yeah.
They may be done at 3.
Yep.
They would.
It says like the cars can't leave until the buses are gone, or
Yeah, I
something
think
to
the
that effect.
school has to take
And I think
on
there's-
some
yeah, I-
responsibility as well. And if we ask them to send a notice to remind parents and whatever, I think that we can ask them to do that. Sure.
So as a bus driver, school bus driver, when they're parking at the beginning, you said there's cars on both sides,
Yes, sir.
and they're taking off. If the bus is parked at the beginning, does he have his reds on?
Yes.
So
He
that's-
does not have his
Some they
reds
don't.
on.
So that was my other thought, like if you
So
have
if
the
he
stop
doesn't have
on, you
his
literally
red-
can't go back past them.
Right.
Right, so if he doesn't have his reds on, or if they don't have his reds on, they can go, because I'm also an instructor, they can go through it.
Right.
Parking the bus on one side and having them turning the reds on, that will be a safer for the kids to get off. Now, and have the parents in front of that, have the bus at the beginning of the,
Drive.
Right. That
So
would-
the
that
key,
would
so the
solve
key thing
90%
too
of
is
it.
you're saying is the bus driver's kind of at fault by not having that
Right,
sign out, which
exactly. So by
I would
right, by
think
the
that anybody
state,
letting
what's
kids
going
off the
on
bus had that
I feel like
sign
they
out.
were
I
We're
didn't,
pulling down like
I
here.
thought it was the law.
I thought,
Did you
yeah.
see it?
I didn't,
No.
I
Didn't
didn't
even
pick
pay
up on it.
attention because you expect it,
When we
right?
were
no, it
there,
is the law.
he stopped
My
right
grandpa
here,
was a bus monitor
let
for
the
many
kids
years.
out. And then after, their kids would walk down and get to their buses leaving. The problem is like, these parents, the school's gotta get on these parents to say, you can't be, if kids are running across the street to a car,
Exactly.
they can't be zipping out of there.
right.
But that's not, that's up to the school to police.
But
Right,
if
that's,
if he's in the front, that alleviates all of that.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But, yeah, but
Because if
he,
he's in the front with his, like his sign
Yeah.
out, they can't
can't
go
go
anywhere, literally can't go
They
anywhere.
can't get in the
And
park.
if they do, get a license plate and report them.
That's-
Call it a
that's-
day.
well, that's what it is. Like,
Coming
the
from-
bus is right here at the beginning,
Yeah, so, but,
and they're all ahead.
and that's.
That-
Oh,
The
no,
day
I'm
that-
saying the end, oh, well, then
Oh,
I guess
at
the
the
end.
end.
The
I'm
end.
saying the
End.
end.
Right.
Maybe, not the beginning.
Because like
The
you
The
said,
entrance of the
beginning of the
park.
street, like in the back, so the
You know
cars
what
are
I'm
in front of
saying?
him? Oh, I'm
'Cause you're
saying the
saying it's-
opposite, him
how
pull
long-
all the way up.
You want them at
Yeah,
the
but
exit.
then you're gonna
Right.
get the cars zipping to get right behind them to be the first one out.
Well-
Yeah.
So you're trying to avoid. Right,
Yeah.
if the bus stops here, the kids get out and they walk back. Now they're gonna be running to their cars to try to be the first one behind
Yep.
them.
Well,
Versus
the bus
if
should park
stops
right in the
here-
middle of the driveway.
no,
That's what I'm
you
saying,
want
he's
them in the
parked in the
middle,
middle, and
because
his reds,
If you
you're
put
not
them in the
supposed to
middle,
move
then
at
they're
all.
all
Like,
around
you're
him,
technically
all
not
like
supposed
that.
to
I
drive
understand.
at
And
all.
then these are trying to get out and everything.
And that's
sneaking
part of the
by.
other
If
problem
you-
with this
If
is
the bus
like,
is right
how do
here,
we
right
as the
at the
board
opening.
Yeah.
police
Yeah, no, that's
Bus
fine.
stops here, nobody can
Because,
get by
yeah,
that
if
bus.
he's in the
There's
back,
cars
even if
parked
he
on
has
both
his
sides.
reds on, if you're in
Now the
front of
kids
him,
are all
technically
walking
it's
down
not
the
illegal, you
sidewalks and
can
you
cars.
can go by.
If they're behind him, they cannot go. So that's why, when you were saying
Right,
the
they're
front, I
not
thought you meant he was
parking there.
driving
They're
all the
not
way,
parking
No,
so
you
he was
get
at
out
the
right at the
end.
beginning of the drive.
Then they'd
Oh,
have to go
yeah,
to
no,
Scarborough.
that's,
Yeah.
That's
then, yeah, no, then
private
that
property.
makes.
Yeah.
See, but what we're saying is, here's, as you enter the Park Drive, say, going north, right? The buses are stopping immediately as they enter the Park Drive, which means all those cars have to be
They have to be
in front
parked and they're
of
waiting
that bus,
once the
waiting.
bus gets
The
there.
way you're saying it, the bus is up here, the cars are behind them.
Right.
As Soon as the kid gets off the bus, they're gonna go and try to get by this bus.
Or they're gonna
Over
wanna
here,
be
they're
first in
already
line
past
behind
the
the bus
bus.
to get
Yeah.
out.
You see how the cars
So I
are
think
parked
the
on
way
both
they're
sides?
doing
So
it
that bus
right
is parked
now,
way up here. And
one,
these
the bus
kids walking
driver's
down
gotta
here and going between.
obey rules and regulations of his,
parents-
Well, so that's the
trade.
thing,
out.
if they're in front of him and his lights are on, they technically do not have to wait, it's only if you're behind him.
Exactly, exactly.
So his lights may be on. If I'm parked in front of him and my kid gets in the car, it is completely illegal for me to go
Yeah.
and.
Right.
Because the bus is up here.
And that's where they are parked
And that's the way
in
it's
front of
working
him.
right now.
Yeah.
They are parked in front
But
of
I
him,
think
so
the
they
other
can
way
go.
is worse.
Yeah, well,
See, but what
because
he's,
in my head,
what
they're all
he's
parked,
saying,
so they
Every
would
day.
just
The
wait.
bus is
Every
parked
day
right
without
here.
exception.
Okay.
And I
And the
can,
kids
like I
get
said,
out
I can take
in
the
their
pictures
car.
and bring them in.
That bus
There's
is back
no
here.
less
They
than
have to
20
wait.
cars parked behind the
They
bus.
have to
But
wait.
how can the
Yeah,
cars
yeah,
park
yeah.
behind the bus? This is my
The bus is
question.
up here.
They
Joey,
can't leave.
how can the cars park behind the bus? What you're saying is they're parked up against where the houses live and where the people live in those houses? Because that's what's behind that bus.
You know where the tennis courts are?
Yes?
Buses and tennis courts.
I know in the morning when I went there, they were after the tennis court in
In
the
the
morning.
afternoon, it's the same way I was there today. In fact, I
In the
was
morning or
parked
at night?
This is this afternoon.
So in the afternoon, you're saying they were halfway up, like behind the outfield of the baseball?
Yes, ma'am. I was
That's
parked.
not where they
the
were
day
when
that
these
I
guys
was
were
there.
there.
I was parked right
They
So
beside
we're
the
gonna,
buses today.
so my suggestion would be, so that we don't go on forever, my
Yeah.
suggestion would be that the board went there, the board visually saw the bus stop at the, that we send a letter to the school stating that we've addressed,
And we're recommending,
and we are recommending this. And if this is not adhered to, we will have to revisit it again and perhaps have to consider sending this to the school committee to, if this is not gonna be something that's safe for the kids, then they have to address it in the school department and the
Did a
school
few minutes
committee.
early, 10, 15 minutes early, and watch the flow of the parents. When the parents park, about 2:40, 2:42, they all get out of the cars and they walk past the tennis courts, past the first maple tree, down to the next one. And that's where their first bus stops. The second bus stops between that huge maple tree in the middle of the road, or the middle of the drive.
Have them make a notice to say that that bus is gonna be picking up and dropping off at the beginning.
the beginning.
The beginning. And if not, then we're gonna have to revisit this again.
And the parents need to have some accountability to,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
Absolutely, I mean,
we can only do so
right.
much. You know, traffic can only do so much.
We can't raise their
like, we
children,
can-
we, I mean.
Never came
Because
before
you- because
traffic. I'm on
thi-
traffic.
This is the
Never came
thing,
before traffic.
where, you know what I mean?
What never
is-
came before traffic?
The
This
buses.
came from traffic, I think,
This
right?
came from
came
the
from-
traffic.
Yes, but they never came to ask us anything about the parking.
Because this
This-
was.
But I don't think
This-
traffic has the jurisdiction, right? That's
Right.
the issue.
Traffic don't have the jurisdiction, and this,
No.
this is from two administrations ago.
Yeah, I would have sent this,
But
anyway, we
this
would
was
have
from,
sent it
this
back
was from
anyway.
two administrations ago, and nothing to do with this minute, this has
Yep.
been going on for years.
Yeah, I think the board has done due diligence. I think we've, the only thing I can say is let's make a recommendation to either send a letter to the school stating that we have received this petition, we've visited the site. If the school wants to continue to use this as this site, then the board is requesting that the buses stop here, parents park in front of them, and can they please send out some type of notification to the parents with rules and regulations of picking up their kids that they feel is going to be safe. I mean, I think that's the most that we can do.
I agree. Thank you for listening.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You.
Okay, so. All right.
So we need to have that all in a motion.
So we're gonna
Yes.
consolidate it. Well, the motion will be that we're gonna put together a letter to send over to the school with our recommendations that the bus stops at the beginning of the drive and we make sure the bus driver has his red flashers on.
Yep, and it's for morning pickups and drop-off, and afternoon drop-offs.
Right.
Every single, that is the bus stop. Parents are gonna have to walk, and they're gonna, and the school's gonna have to send out notices to these parents saying that that's where it's gonna be. And it doesn't for me them now to all stop hawking up in the beginning now to be behind the bus.
Yeah, and
They
included
need
in
to-
that, like, there should be, it should probably be noted that there has been this petition signed by, 40 concerned parents. So we should make sure that all parents are as responsible as possible when they're
Are
picking
aware
up
of
their
bus stop
kids.
protocol that is expected by the school.
Yeah.
or
I have one
something.
last question. Is there a speed limit sign in Park Drive?
No, but it's like 15 or 20.
We could make it 5. I don't know if that's insane, but lower it for just in Park Drive so that when.
I don't, I'll be honest with you, I've seen people use that because it's like a bypass for Stafford Road.
Probably
Um,
have done that before.
You could put the sign there, but if they're not enforcing it when the kids.
Yeah, if they're driving over the curbs like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is also true.
Don't waste your money on the sign,
Touche.
but I
Okay.
get your point, but I
Yeah.
think so that's a motion made by BJ.
All right, I'll second.
All right. Commissioner McDonald made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Burns. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Item E.
I think a niece, granddaughter, I don't know.
Item
He
E,
does.
request letter regarding field permits for 2024 season. This is our letter that, standard letter that goes out to all organizations and everything for the use of the parks when they're gonna their leagues and everything, what we're looking for and that, and if they don't have this stuff to Ms. Smith by a certain time, they cannot utilize the parks.
Okay, so.
Anything
what-
change?
Oh, sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
Oh, no. What is the time frame? Because I feel like last year we talked about putting an actual end date. So we
That's-
said everything is due by this date.
That's what this is before the board,
Okay.
you determine
I think
the
we
end
need to
date.
add that.
Yep.
I don't know what that date should be. I think it would be more on you for whatever what you need for planning purposes.
Yeah.
What you think the last, like if everyone submits on that date.
Well,
would
we
you be
all
able to
know,
get
we all know
everything?
that we're gonna go through the same thing of,
Yeah.
I don't have my rosters on that
Yeah.
time, I don't whatever, but if the majority of the information that doesn't change is in, I usually say, you know, March 1st, so that we have it for our March meeting. Because most of these organizations wanna start either late March or
Early spring.
early April, you know, at least with practices or
Yeah.
putting the kids together or tryouts or whatever. So, I mean, a lot of the leagues have disbanded.
Really?
Well, I mean, you know, some of the little leagues that we've had before, we don't have them. We
Dumont.
now have like
Dumont.
two. We have,
Okay.
we do have the girls' league now that's
The
going
softball.
into Dumont, so that's you know, that's, they've already reached out to me with, you know, what are the procedures to renew this
Yeah.
permit, so.
March 1st then.
Most of it is, you know, you can put March 1st as a deadline, and then, like I said, we're not gonna get the rosters, we're not gonna get whatever. They won't get their permit until
We get everything.
anything, all
I
of
was
that
gonna
stuff
say,
is.
maybe the line be like, information is due by March 1st. If you do not have, and then whatever you're willing to not have, put that. If you don't have, you won't be able to.
Well, I'm not gonna say I'm willing not to have any.
Yeah, 'cause then they're gonna say-
This is true.
That just opens up a whole can of worms, it's like.
Please reach out if there's certain items that
No,
will
they
not
can
be-
explain the circumstance. If there's something that you don't have, please explain the circumstance.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for this from whatever, I've applied for.
Well, and I think
Most of
that-
it is just automatic renewals.
Well, and I think the other thing too is, I don't know about, like, I know softball and baseball that's gonna be the spring, but soccer is probably in the fall, right? So we're
No,
not getting,
soccer's
you're
spring,
you're
too.
getting
Spring.
spring stuff for
Yeah.
soccer too.
Soccer will start March.
Okay.
They have their travel team. See, this is,
Oh,
like you
okay.
said, soccer, and this is what I say, when we start looking at charging and
Well, that was what I was.
the elite
Thinking.
teams of soccer and the travel teams of soccer play from March through the year. What we all know, because our kids probably played soccer because they were like, okay, let's get them into soccer, and everybody plays, was from August to November. That's the soccer season for Fall River Youth Soccer. The other is the division of Fall River Youth Soccer, that is their travel team, their elite teams, their pay-to-play teams.
Right.
So those are the ones that we have, and they go from like maybe March or April to July, take a break, and then start up again. But the one that that's why you think of fall, is because that's when
Okay.
the regular Fall River Youth Soccer plays in fall.
And this is,
I was just thinking, because if you need it, you know, if you wanna start your league in April, we need it by March 1st. If you wanna start your league in May, then we need it by April 1st. Like,
Right, exactly. So we can say 30 days before
So their
your
season-
schedule start season.
Yeah,
You
yeah. I
could do
was gonna
that
say,
as
but
well,
then,
too.
Like you said, if they need it before for practices, that's where it gets wonky, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. So someone's
Got
like,
it.
season might not start till April.
I'm just
1st,
thinking
but they
it's
have
already,
practices
what
all
is
of
it,
March.
February 7th, 8th today? March 1st is gonna be here. I mean, I don't know how long it takes them to get this stuff together, but.
Most of them
Yeah,
have
most
it
of them have
together,
it.
most
Yeah.
of them have their tryouts. Some of them have the kids sign up in
I know,
November and give them a discount if they sign up in November.
Mr. Patello, he's got it already advertising for signups and everything.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kennedy and
most of
everything.
them, they'll start, I wanna say late April with their seasons. Late,
Yeah.
like 24, you know, there's opening days, ceremonies, 24, whatever. They use it for practice, but again, we always say games take precedent over practice. So, I can give them, you know, the 15th of March if we want. We'll go halfway, it's like a month from today. Some of them have already sent it in,
Oh.
15th. We won't have it for the next board meeting,
Yeah.
but we'll be able
Will
to.
that be an issue?
No.
No? Okay.
They can let you know too if it's
Yeah.
an issue, and
Yeah.
if there's somebody that needs it ahead of time,
But
they'll get it to you.
Most of the leagues that want to, and like I got something from Durfee already, that they want to use the fields. I've got something from Diamond already that they wanna use the fields. I've got something from the Girls League with all the times that they wanna use the fields. Maplewood will be sending theirs in probably at the end of March, middle to end of March, along with Mr. Botello. But like, I used to have 20-some odd leagues. I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we have one league wanting to use multiple fields to accommodate either numbers or locations of kids. But I just wanted to be able to send that letter out. We put it on the city website, so it kind of pokes the bear and lets people know, like, if you don't have your stuff together,
Yep.
get it together. So I always like to have the board approve what it says. If they want to add something, fine.
Yeah, I would just add the March 1st.
You want to do 15?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then anyone who puts in all of their paperwork prior to that, it can go on the March meeting, or would you wait to do all of them at the same time?
It's up to you guys. I mean, if they're ready to go and they want practice time and we have all their stuff, I don't see an issue with it.
Yeah, I
mean,
think if it's in, I was just, my only concern with March 1st was like, are they gonna be like scrambling, like, oh, we don't have it, it's only a couple weeks away.
They're not gonna have
But-
they're not gonna have their teams, they're not gonna have their numbers. What they will have is they can send me an application, they can send me what fields they're looking for, they can send me what times they're looking for those fields, which for the most part are gonna be the same.
Right.
The ones that really kind of teeter on that are the school ones, because the schools have home and away games, they need certain games, you know, certain dates for practices, so they're a little bit different, and they usually want to start March because their seasons start earlier.
And what, it's Durfee baseball, right? Because there's only one field
Durfee
now.
baseball,
Yep.
and I think, what, Diamond?
Diamond's Lafayette. They wanna use
What was
Lafayette.
was it baseball? I
Baseball
can't
for
remember, I
Lafayette.
think it was a baseball too.
Just baseball for Diamond.
For now, because
For now,
their
they
field will
usually
be
use-
soccer.
Yeah, they
in
don't
the
have
fall.
anything,
They'll
but
usually use Brentland for soccer,
In the fall.
for fall and everything.
But he'll submit that once he knows that. But
And he
yeah,
might wanna use the tennis courts this year too.
because I think they play some games at the Swansea Y too, don't they?
they have
They have,
around a little bit.
Yep.
Whatever he can probably get for, I don't know if Swansea Y charges the school,
mm-hmm,
they may. So
Yeah.
whatever he can probably get from us,
yeah.
So,
that helps them.
But like, last year he used, bicentennially for the soccer, tennis and everything. So, between there and BCC.
Not to upset Helen, but I did receive an email from the pickleball people. When are we opening the pickleball courts?
You said
I
not
said
until-
usually mid to late March.
July.
Weather dependent. All right, so the letter's good to go with the date. Can we get a motion
Yeah.
second?
I make a motion to approve and I just add the date.
second,
Commissioner Burns made that motion, second by Commissioner Farias. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. pickleball. Oh, that's not it.
Item F, letter provided to the Fall River Arts regarding update on the Olmsted mural at Kennedy Park Garage, Bradford Avenue. This is the letter that we just sent out.
Make a motion to place on file.
Second.
Commissioner McDonald made that motion, second by Commissioner Regal. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Item G, assessment and update regarding Ruggles Park trees on Seabury Street. If you guys remember, we had that big storm, windy storm and that, and one of these trees came down and went into a tenement house on top of a vehicle and everything that was in the yard and everything, so this is where this is coming from.
Historically, who's responsible for,
So the information, the lady had asked, because of course the neighborhood is concerned, and Mr. Martin has provided the last assessments in your package. I will forward that. I wanted to go to the board first. I'll forward that information to the resident in question. But these trees are on the arborist list to do it in the spring. My conversations with Mr. Martin, we have to wait till the trees have leaves supposedly to assess them. So they are aware of that. And there was another grove that she was concerned with, that Mr. Martin and his crew went and they took all those trees down, so that area has been addressed as well. So, the assessment, I guess, happens every couple of years, unless there's something,
Yeah, it looks like every 2 years.
unless there's something out of the ordinary.
Yes, and they were just assessed, I believe, a year and a half ago.
Yep, 22.
have to go.
So- We're gonna have them reassessed again this spring.
Finalize it today.
So we will send that out to her. so-
Perfect.
Okay.
We make a motion to,
Make a motion, send it out.
Second.
Commissioner Rego made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Burns. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Item H is proposed date for the upcoming joint meeting with the Park Board and the Fall River City Council. So this is for Tuesday, February 13th, which is next Tuesday at 6 PM. We wanted to do this last year, but I know there was a lot of stuff that happened to be falling right on Valentine's Day and everything. But just myself and Commissioner Rego went. Mr. McDonald was not part of the board at that time, but now they sent out this invitation for us to attend on the 13th, excuse me, at 6 PM to go over park concerns with the parks and everything, budget stuff, since the budget season's right around the corner and everything. So it'll be just like when the school committee goes there, we'll open our meeting, they'll open their meeting, and we'll sit facing and go back and forth.
Do we have like an agenda?
We'll put, well, I don't think it'll be an agenda. I will I'll speak with the city clerk's office.
Just so that like if there's certain things that they wanna know about, that just so we're, like, we have.
Well, I can ask, what I have to do is I just wanna make sure, I told them I would double check tonight, because we had a meeting that everyone is available to attend, because originally everyone said they are. So I will let them know that everyone is available to attend, and in that email, I'll say if there is a particular item that they are interested in the board discussing, if they could let us know so we can prepare the information for them.
The thing I had asked
They usually
Nancy
don't.
for, and I think she's working on it, is just a list of the projects, so stuff we had discussed in a prior meeting, the list of projects maybe that have started, that haven't been finished, or approved that haven't been started. I think that having that readily available for them is gonna be important. And the other thing that I haven't had the chance to yet, is the conversation that's gone around and around as far as fees, league fees, permit fees, utilization of the fields. I wanted to look into like maybe the city of Taunton, city of New Bedford, see what they do, see if they charge, and maybe if we can provide. So I'm gonna try to look and get some of that, and maybe I can get it to you to share before the meeting. But I think that, at least in my mind, those are probably the two things that I think we should be prepared to discuss. I don't know if there's anything else.
I do have information from, it's from a couple of years back, though, because as I said, we've revisited this charging thing for 100 times. And I do have some information. I can send it to you, so it can be a starting point of some areas.
Yeah, if there's
that we
other
can go.
similar cities that are doing, and I don't know the answer, if Taunton charges, if New Bedford charges, I don't know. But I would think that we would be able to, if they do that, but if we want to be able to pay to take down trees and pay to fix poles and not rely on, the budget every year to create some.
Well, like I said, too, that would have been good but if you're using it, if you're going to pay by the day you use it and the number of times you use it, then it.
Well, and I think it
it'll
also helps with the
definitely help out.
monopolization of some of the fields.
Yes,
'Cause
1,000%.
We're not charging right now, so you can
1,000%.
sign up and have the field all day,
Yes.
and there's no ramifications for not showing up.
Absolutely,
So-
1,000% right. Yes.
All right. So we're all
yeah.
all set for next
Yep.
Tuesday? Okay. So we can confirm that with them, please?
Yep.
Can I motion to, that we're all set?
Motion
Send that everybody's available.
Yep, everybody's available.
Commissioner Rego made that motion. Can I get a second?
second.
Second by Commissioner Farias. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item I, request from the Marine Corps League for the use of Veterans Memorial Park, Duval Street, for the Iwo Jima Memorial Event on March 24th at 11 a.m. Ms. Smith, we have, the Veterans Officer did approve this?
Yes.
Okay. Because you know how we, last fall, I believe it was, we approved the new stipulation, thing that they have to go through the Veterans Officer. I just want to make sure that this was done first. Okay, can I get a motion to?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I'm gonna have Commissioner Rego make that motion.
Second that.
And seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, item J, this letter was sent to me as the chairman of the park board. It's a letter from Mass Department of Transportation, upcoming work on the Braga Bridge Pier. If you guys see in the pier, it's that pier that's in the middle of the Taunton River, under the, near the State Pier. I guess they're gonna be replacing this and everything, so they're just informing all, they're gonna have a public hearing here. They're just informing anybody, boards and everything that might be the use of this area or that, so I think it's more for us. What
The
Ms. Smith was
barge.
saying, because of the
I
barge,
know.
for the 4th of July, because they might have to, access and everything for that.
Well, I think they just want to know who's going to have to get in and out of there.
Yeah.
And whether it's going to interfere with what they have going on. But we're the 4th of July, I don't think they're going to be working on the, everybody usually takes the break at that
Yeah.
point, so.
So,
I didn't want to not put it forward. It may not have anything to do with us when it comes right down to it, but just so the board is aware, I know it was sent to the board, so I didn't want to just.
I won't be taking the Braga Bridge anytime soon.
Well, if the work's gonna be, yeah.
They're just saying, there's damage.
No, I don't think
well,
they're
it's
saying
just
there's
like, it's the
damage.
barrier that's around it, like, it's like a bumper barrier that's like starting to like deteriorate, so they gotta replace that.
Oh, I guess it's only damage for the ships. that
It's
pass
reaching
it.
its
Yeah.
end of its useful
Yeah.
lifespan, so they're being proactive, not
The
reactive. They're
motion-
covering their tracks
I
here.
just need a motion to place this on file.
I make a motion to place on fire.
Second.
Commissioner Burns made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Rego. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, it's the end of our agenda. Commissioner inquiries. There's a couple, guys. I'll start with the smaller one first. So, last Friday, I'm sure you guys have seen on social media, the police and everything are investigating and everything. The Iwo Jima Memorial got
Yeah.
vandalized
Yep.
with graffiti all over it, and down at Bison, I know we have cameras down there, they're trying to check into it. My thing is, I don't know if it's a law or not, but my opinion is, pardon my French,
Oh, don't swear.
no, whoever did it, they need to make a public, and put them on social media. Because I remember when this happened in the industrial park, when the guys tagged the industrial park sign, their names were released, they had to do community service, fix that industrial park sign and that. They had to paint a positive mural at the old Watuppa Heights, the big wall that was there and that. And they had to do a bunch of community service. All we're seeing is graffiti everywhere. When you deface a veterans memorial like this, if you want to be the big guy doing it, you should be publicly recognized now, so everybody can know who you are.
Wouldn't they get arrested too? Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying, is they find out, but the problem is they never publicly release. No, sorry, you should be, if you want to do something this bad, you should be getting, to know who you are, so people can look at you and that you're disgracing a sacred thing for the veterans and that in here, that worked tireless. What if this was the Vietnam Wall? That all these people worked hard for this and everything. I think that's, if you're that bogus to do that, you should be put out there to let people know who you are.
You are right, Joey, on all of it, but it does, even if it was a Vietnam Wall, but it
Exactly.
doesn't make a difference
Anything,
which,
anything.
Yeah, it
which
doesn't-
monument
No.
it is,
Yeah.
or where it happened.
Yep.
You're a coward by doing what you did.
Yes.
Are they gonna be men enough to do it? No, they're not gonna show their faces, they're not even gonna,
No, I'm not saying themselves. I'm saying
Oh,
the law enforcement, when they arrest this person,
They
it
should.
should be put out
They
there.
should, yes, there is a law that you
It
can't
should be
just-
put out there who they were.
You
And
can't
guess what? When
deface.
when they get charged with this is what they're gonna have to do. Clean it, community service to that, and go around doing whatever else. When you start doing this, you guaranteed this will stop.
Oh, sure.
Well, just so you know, they're not gonna be able to clean it. That needs to
No.
be
No.
professionally cleaned. That's
Well,
too,
then they should be coming up with the cost for it.
well, that's
Exactly.
another story, but it definitely, it's a company that I have used before for the,
Yeah, that's, it's.
the Statue of Liberty at the entrance of Kennedy Park.
Now, does that come out of your budget at this point to
Well,
clean that, right now?
Right now, the veterans are handling all that. We're working in conjunction with them if, you know, but they have special fund, that's a whole, they have funds for that they raise and they're gonna, they're the ones that have the cameras, so.
So it was the veterans that put the cameras in and all
The
that?
veterans
like
put
that
the,
was
yeah, so
part
we're
of it.
leaving, we're letting the veterans organization take
Sure.
the lead, and whatever they need from us, we'll be more than willing to try to help them out with it, but they're taking the lead because they have handled that right from the get-go, so.
And it's not only that, the brand-new city pier, the Tom Norton city pier, the new power boxes they put out there, they tag that on the outside facing the water and that, like, come on. You know what I mean? Enough is enough. Council Reposa put a graffiti thing to get graffiti down in that. We need to stop putting teeth in that, and guess what? Going after them. When we find out who it is, they put their tag name. You're not gonna tell me they don't know who this person is.
I was gonna say, there are cameras out there, so they didn't see anything? Like, there are-
Sometimes it's facing the dock,
Yeah.
like the water and everything like that, but if they, of course, they're not doing it in broad daylight, they're doing this at
No,
nighttime.
but even still, there's still cameras,
Yeah.
they should be able to work at nighttime, that's the whole point.
Yep. So,
All right, what's your next one, Joe?
all right, so the next one, guys. If you have your minutes out, you might wanna pull them out to see what you guys discussed in December. At the December 6th meeting, we had our Director of Operations, Mr. Olivera, here. We talked about, I know Commissioner Burns asked him, says it right in the meetings. Commissioner Rego asked, Commissioner McDonald asked, I asked, I'm not sure if Commissioner Farias asked, but we'll say it in the minutes here. How many times Mrs. Smith over here got told what we've done in the past and everything? We don't have to always do the same. He's been doing this for years and that. The plumber and that he has to weatherize it.
context behind it, because I
The weather, the weatherization
Yeah.
for Father Tavasos and everything. This was December 6th. Last week, Miss Mick gets a phone call. You might want to come down to Father Tavasos. This is only one thing.
What do you know? To me,
Not even a month and a half. That's weatherized?
No.
The whole park. I'll pass these pictures around. I'm gonna put this as
I think we
a
all
record.
got them, haven't we?
No, you didn't get this, this came to me. I will put this around and show you guys, and then we'll make this part of the record. That's that right there, when it's installed and everything. But I'll show you what the park looked like all flooded. So if this is weatherized, and he stated right here, all five of us, that this was done properly and that. Our take is that, oh, it was a trickle. Should have been no trickles. This should have been done right. Mrs. Smith, Mr. Demmead, Mr. Perry, for years have done this the right way. We've never had an issue. We do it his way, and in not even a month and a half, we've had these issues now. I think it's a sign of disrespect that there's times, there's other issues too that I'm gonna discuss that happened in this meeting. This piece right here, I just looked, is $1,000 to repair. We're not even knowing if there's gonna be even more damage here until it comes.
We're replacing that, we're not repairing it.
No,
can't
this is
repair.
the replace, the
Okay,
replace.
okay.
It cannot, it's ruptured, it's like.
It's
No, he
ruptured.
said repair, I just wanted to make
No,
sure.
no, I'm sorry.
It has to be
To
replaced.
repair,
There's
I'm
probably
sorry.
more to it than just that has to be replaced, I'd imagine.
Exactly, there was all flooded in that, they had to pump it out and that, so we don't even know the severity. We might not even be able to open this splashback come spring. Because we don't even know how much damage is here. So, And who's paying for
When
this
can
now?
they analyze that and figure out?
Still, it's tough.
Not until-
Well, my
Weather.
suggestion when I saw this was, normally I don't even attempt to open the thing and put all the pieces back and put it all together again until June. But my suggestion is that, once the weather breaks, we're gonna have to try and get the company down that I have usually come, and, you know, that did that section of the winterization, that I said I had the outside contractor come down. He's been the same outside contractor for all this time. There is a backflow preventer in there that we said, well, I don't wanna say we said, I asked for it to come out. The contractor had said most people do take it out because there is no way of knowing 100%, and I put this in all my emails, that the water is out of that. It was not removed based on the recommendation of Mr. Olivera, that it didn't have to be removed, but Mr. Olivera's plumber, whoever is the person making these decisions. So it wasn't removed. So I don't know if there was water in there that froze. I do know that the cabinet that houses the computer had about 1.5 feet of water in it. We had to actually put a hose and a pump in it to pump it out. Because all that park that you see flooded, it just seeped through the water, through the ground and flooded the cabinet. So the water was, when I got there, the water was gushing out of that thing. And
So what did we do now? Like, is the water?
Isn't that
like-
part of it? Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Is it off? Like
well,
obviously
I
I'm
had
assuming it's
to,
off, but
well,
like,
when I went there, we had to call the water department again. The guy was like, didn't I come here? I go, no, you guys blew me off. That's exactly my words. I'm like, no, you decided to blow me off, but I guess you never came back either. So he shut the water, took out that piece, like they normally, like, you can see the other, in that picture, the other pad, the other box has the piece removed by the water department, because that's the one for the splash pad. There's 2 boxes there. This box had a heater in it. And in my winterization, I'm like, we either have to fix this, take this off, or repair the heater. And neither one was done. That box is an insulated box with a heater. There's a GFI plug in there, and it wasn't repaired. So the GFI plug there, okay, the GFI plug that was there wasn't repaired. So normally, the heater box will work, and if they don't want to take apart that piece, they don't have to, but the heater box needs to work. So the pipes never freeze. Listen, I can't tell you how much flack I took and how many emails I sent, and you guys know the whole situation of it. And this is exactly why I said I want it in writing. If you're going to change the system,
Which-
that's fine, just put it in writing. Now, my question to you guys would be, where would I be right now if I did not get that in writing?
I was gonna say, he did, because I remember specifically, because there was a lot going on, and I was like, I don't care about anything else. Was it done? Can you send the email? Did he send the email to you to say that it was done?
No, he told you
Winterization.
here. He told you here. I received nothing
He
after
didn't
this
send it-
meeting.
So in that meeting, he had said he was going to send you something.
No, he had said he did send it. He
So I asked
sent,
him to resend it.
But in the meeting, he
Yeah,
said it was done.
He said it was done, but then said, "Oh, I'll email it to her so that she has so he never sent that.
I've never received anything. I received an email from him that, as I said to you guys before, and I probably have it here with me. This is not necessary. This is you were told before that this is not necessary, and if you thought it was necessary, perhaps you should read up on winterization. I don't need to be spoken to, first of all, like that. I'm not a child, okay? That to me is almost as disrespectful as coming here and saying to you, yes, I did it.
So I guess my only other question related to this now is, have we double checked the other ones? The other splash pads?
The piece was removed.
No. He's saying like
At
other
the other
splash
parks.
pads, like
Other
everywhere.
No, because we don't need to. That's the most intricate one.
Okay.
What happens is with those other splash pads, if that piece that is busted is removed, which it was removed from all of the other places because the water department removed it, that day, because I said, can you at least please go around to the pads and remove it?
Remove
I don't
it.
know what you guys do
Got it.
over and above. You know, that's, and I've said that in my minutes, I said that when I was here, I've said that in my emails. What I said was, the contractor for the splash pad has visited every splash pad, and we have removed what we need to remove. What needs to be done in addition to that, I don't know. And that box is in addition to that, because the heater box wasn't fixed, the plug. So that box, I believe, feeds an irrigation system. Has nothing to do with the splash pad that I know of. Again, I don't know if the pipes are connected. I'm not a plumber. That's why we have somebody come in.
Yeah.
The others have had that piece that ruptured. If it's removed, it's got, like you'll see in that picture, 2 pieces of an end pipe. So
Yeah.
there's nothing that's ever gonna freeze or build up in that. The water will
Just trickle out.
trickle out and it will never build up. That comes from the water sitting in there. It expands.
Right.
And then when the weather gets warmer again, it contracts. So that expanding and contracting is what,
Right.
that's, did you feel that thing? It's like a completely brass, heavy, it's not just a dirty old pipe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there like a date, like when, like I know certain things have like warranties or how old something. 'Cause
No,
I-
that's from the water department. That's, I have to replace that through the water department took that out.
Gotcha.
So there's not, that's not any kind of warranty. That's nothing that's,
And
No,
that's
not a warranty,
yeah,
but
but
like, you
that's
know when you
not,
put, like, a-
that's not because it's a 100-year-old piece.
Yeah,
of,
that's what I meant, like, is
that's-
it like super, I'm just trying to play.
first of all, the splash pad was put there in 2015.
That's
So-
not that old.
That,
That should last more than 10 years.
So if they had taken that out, that's the normal thing, and he left it in, and that's what he's saying, you don't have to take it out, you can leave it, that's the.
you can leave it,
synopsis
and
of-
and whether, and maybe, to me, you might be able to leave it if you heat the
Right.
box.
Yeah.
If it's
You
not-
have to
it's
do
needed.
one or the other. You're either gonna heat the box that has the water in.
And all the
pipe with
other
the water.
splash pads had that removed because there was no box with a heater in it.
Yes, it's a
Okay.
cabinet.
And if you just said what she said, he had stated, he had it done the right way, it was all done. She said the first time the water department didn't come. So if it was done, then why wasn't it taken out? That means it wasn't done properly. So water department never came back.
Because every
So he
year
never
prior
had
to this
come
year,
back.
that would get removed too.
Or the heater would work.
That's what I was just
And-
So is there a chance that the heater kicked the bucket
No.
in the meantime?
No, there is no chance, because I had put in the purchase order, I mean, not the purchase order, the work order, the GFI plug, the this, the that, I was told it didn't need to be done. I did everything the way I was supposed to do. Let me just let you in on another scenario. Last year, when we gave this department, now he wasn't there in September, but we gave this department in the summer, they had to have the key to Britland Park, had to have the key to Britland Park, we're in charge of buildings. They even went to the locksmith to make a key that I have no duplicates on, and the locksmith called me, and the person said to the locksmith, I'm in charge of buildings, I should have the key. And the locksmith said to them, well, then that shouldn't be a problem. Go back, ask her to give me a call, and I'll give you the key. But that was all done behind my back, because I like to maintain keys. So guess what? April of this year, based on last winter, the pipes broke in Britland Park Comfort Station. Guess who was at fault? You don't think I'm gonna dot my i's and cross my t's with this one? They said, you didn't put in a work order. I said, you have the key, you're in charge of buildings, why am I gonna put in a work order? You told me you're in charge of buildings. You either gotta take it and run with it, or give it to me and I'll do it my way. That's why we say, here's the key, winterize the building, give it back, we know it's done.
So like in this one here, it's done the right way.
Correct.
It has the
That's the
valves open.
cabinet, that's the
Valves
cabinet.
open, where indicates the water's not coming out, so they shut it off. The meter's taken out, the wires are hooked up. The other one is not.
So where do we go from here?
What's the,
So-
that can't be assessed for total
Well, I think it's like
damage
any-
until
you turn the water on again. And I think what's gonna
Make
happen,
that part of the record, please.
what I think what's gonna happen is, like anything else, it might work, but I don't know if a pipe has a weakness
Because the
or,
last thing you need, it goes back on and there are kids there and then something bursts while everyone's there.
well, not that, everything is kinda contained,
Yeah.
but it won't, I don't know what kind of flooding we'll have or when it,
Or you don't know how far the crack is from.
correct,
That's what we're
correct.
looking
Might
That's
be-
it.
might be a lot
we-
more damage.
We can't assess it until we start it up. My suggestion would be, we can't wait till June. I'd have to do this late
Like,
April or May, when I know that we're not gonna have any more cold weather. Get it going,
Pray.
run it for a couple days or
run it for a
whatever.
little bit, yeah, I mean, and I don't even know, I mean, like I said, there could be nothing more.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I, the other thing that I wanna clear up is, there was something that was brought here, up a couple of times, and, we were all told, when you have an HR thing, you shouldn't put it out there. Well, I wanna know that 3 times he mentioned an HR thing, okay? I want everybody here to know, I initiated the HR thing. I am not the person that they have the HR thing. I brought the matter to HR. That's the matter that's still pending. So let it be known that
Okay.
I initiated the HR concern.
So I guess now, knowing the questions that we had asked were not necessarily truthful, do we have a update on the,
I'll let you know that.
okay.
That's
then
my
never
next,
mind.
that's my next thing.
Go for it.
So my next thing is, we were told here, when we asked about Father Kelly Park, where was the updates? Did he have a contract, architect and everything? He stated here, he had a contract signed, a proposal, everything. I did the due diligence and called Ronnie Stock from Stock Architect, Ronnie Jock, excuse me, from Stock Architects. The next morning, Ronnie said he sent Mr. Oliveira a proposal, but never received it back. So now I contacted the mayor. The mayor met with me, Mr. Smith, and he said, Mr. Smith, in this park board, is taking over Father Kelly Park. So now, we're getting all the stuff now, and Mr. Smith and I will be signing it, and along with you guys, and we're handling Father Kelly. Because enough is enough. This has been, time and time again, we were lied to and we disrespected. We get stuff the 11th hour, like Commissioner McDonald said it. It's like when stuff comes here, it's like, it's a foregone conclusion that we're gonna do this. We said we want stuff, the tennis courts, the volleyball court, at these other parks, it goes somewhere else in that. So I think if you guys agree, we have Ms. Smith draft a letter from us to the mayor that we are not happy as the park board. We all sign it, that something has to be done for the disrespect that this board is getting.
Can I say something? I don't want to draft the letter.
I was gonna say.
I don't think that I should be the
I
one
don't
to
think so
draft the
either.
letter.
Yeah, no.
I think that I will be more than happy to type the letter.
Okay.
Or to do whatever you
Yeah.
need me to do
Well,
with the
that's what I
letter.
meant.
But
That's what I
I
meant.
don't think I would be the one
It's
to
not
draft
even
this.
I wouldn't even say that it's disrespect.
Yep.
I would say, you have a job, we need you to do your job, and that's literally it.
Yep.
You could, like, obviously, I don't wanna be talked to, which I don't feel like he talked to me in a disrespectful way.
Yep.
Just if I ask you a question, be truthful.
Mhm.
I want complete transparency when it comes to these things, because at the end of the day, it's going to fall back on us. And I think that's the main thing, because I don't want it to be like a, he said, she said, these are the facts. You said this was done and it
Yep.
wasn't done.
Yep.
That's literally it, and it's unacceptable, and that's kind of how I look at it. Instead of bringing in like anything extra, I think if we just leave it at that and it's very clear cut, like you can't say anything else against that.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
It's all part of
I
the
don't know.
minutes. It's right in
Yeah.
there. It's clear as day, that's the minutes right there.
So, second part of that,
Mhm.
what is the deadline for that? Because I know because it's the CPC funds so give me the timeline, because I know there's a certain part, we had to have contracts signed and the work started by a certain time.
No.
Is that
No,
like a thing?
we would be in trouble if we did that, because we're never gonna make these deadlines.
Okay.
First of all, the contract states that they would, the work is to be done by June of this year.
Okay.
I can pretty much tell you that we can't guarantee that that's gonna happen,
Okay.
okay? Will they terminate the money? No. Should we have done this before? Yes. And again, let me say that we were going to move forward with the architect that we had in February. And as Mr. Oliveira.
February of last year.
Of last year. And what as Mr. Oliveira said to you, he wanted to vet 5 different architects because he felt this, well, I don't know if he felt, we all felt, this architect was overwhelmed with a lot of city projects, and maybe it would be best to do this. But we knew we had a deadline, so, and it was something with the Musco lighting. So my conversation was, they didn't want to use that stock, they did not want to use the Musco lighting, so we were going to wait till we vetted architects, and I have an email trail of this. So in August, I said, did you vet the architects? Yes. Are we ready to go forward with Kelly Park? And I think he said, he called and said, we have some other projects, and I'm not sure I'm going to use an architect for that. And I said, the money for that architect. I said, the money's coming from CPC. It doesn't matter. Oh, all right, I'm going to talk to John Brandt. And it wasn't until, that was in September. November is when I took it to the administration and said, listen, we got to get moving on this. This has got a deadline of June, and that's when all this hit the fan.
Okay.
It
So,
came to the December meeting.
and then that's when we wanted him to come in and explain where they were. And like we said, if these things were in place, why didn't you tell us? Why didn't we have any communication? Because then I wouldn't have gone to the mayor or asked these questions. But as Joey said, maybe they weren't in the works, I don't know.
And so just so I understand the backstory too, this board voted approved project back in January, February of
2 years ago,
2 years.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, but with
Because
Mr.
it doesn't
Oliver,
seem like an overly
So you have
complicated
to-
project, right?
so
I
you
mean,
have
we're
to-
taking down the poles that are there and we're putting up new ones. And we have the money earmarked to do it.
right.
So why does
We
it
had
take-
2 projects like that.
And we just
See,
had this done,
Maplewood.
we just did Maplewood. So it'd be a slam dunk, just let's do the same thing.
It should be the
with
same architect, same
why are we
contractor, let's
changing-
just
Why
get
are
it
we
done.
changing when, yeah, we had a little bit of hiccups, but now we know what the
Right.
hiccups were.
Right.
Let's work it. Why are we changing stuff?
Yeah.
That, yes.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Now that I'm thinking about it, that was a really long time.
Right, and we did the Maplewood one, and we're like, okay, well, we've learned from this, and Maplewood was coming to a close, like, we did all they were going to start their project in March, so we figured, okay, they start their project March, April, if we put this one out to bid February or March, one can just piggyback the other. If anything, if the weather stayed nice, we would be able to do it even in the fall. But that just didn't happen. One more thing that I have to bring up, or I would be remiss. One comment that was made, and when I typed these minutes, is when I realized it was made.
Do you rewatch the meetings to type them in?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
This one
Sorry, that was a random.
this one I had to because it
Yeah.
was a lot.
Yeah.
But, and it was when Commissioner Burns asked a question, and we went into this HR thing, and the statement was made, for all intent and purposes, there is a manager of parks, and then there is myself. And I can't be the only one doing work, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Well, I take offense to that. That statement was made publicly at a public meeting, pretty much saying, he works and I don't. And I don't
We all know
think,
that you work, so we can say that.
it's
in a
beside the
public
point,
meeting,
Amber.
yeah.
You
No,
know,
I know.
he
but for
works
the
and I
people-
don't, and we're cotton in winterization pieces that I said, asked politely, over and over, in an email, is this what we do? Is this what we do? Is this what we do? And now, I'm the one stuck with the problem. This board's the one stuck with the problem. Because when you got all these kids in the middle of the heat and the splash pad doesn't work, they're not gonna come looking for him. They're gonna come looking for us.
And the other thing is, going back to this joint meeting, last year, this was already supposed to be in the works. They wanted to add more money to this budget for the
That too.
parks,
Don't get me
for
going.
laborers, for park improvements, for wear and tear and everything like this.
They're not gonna give you money if you can't
Well-
get a project done.
But this is what I'm saying. This is the thing. We didn't get to speak. They spoke because the rest of the park board wasn't there, so we didn't have a quorum. So they spoke. We'll have the money. She put in, what was it, an extra 200 or 300?
I put in 250,000 for one thing, I put in 300,000 for something else. Let me get it.
None of that was budgeted.
75,000 for poles.
None of that was budgeted. And he's supposed to be advocating for this department, for this budget. So now that's why we're going, as the park board, to advocate for this, because we'll get funds from other ways. CPC funds, community development funds, cannot repair stuff. They only can rebuild, like make new, a whole new park and that. If something like this breaks, who's paying for it if the budget keeps getting cut? If we don't have this money allocated for? Commissioner Burns, no, she was in finance. If you don't have so much money for wear and tear stuff and that, what happens now when something goes down like this? Opera funding's running out and everything. That money cannot be for stuff like this, emergency repairs and stuff. And this is what we're trying to say is, you need to work together with this board. And it's my eyes, the way, there are some people here that does not respect our authority on this board. They think they can do whatever they want, sign whatever they want, and it's their way. And no, they're gonna start respecting this board. We have that jurisdiction over all these cemeteries, parks, green spaces, walking trails and that. It comes through us. You cannot just go do what you want and then let's deal with the consequences later. No.
So we've taken over, or Nancy, your department's taken over that project at Father Kelly.
Yes, so just to update everybody, I do have a spec. I did receive something today, because we did test borings where we drilled, because the city has so much ledge. That's something that I got back today from Stock Architect. I have a question on it, as far as the money, so I'm gonna email Rodney tomorrow, because there are contract thresholds, and I don't know if, I don't want to exceed any thresholds and have any kind of procurement issues.
Because I'd also be curious if the money that was earmarked 2 years ago is still enough
We won't
in
know that.
today's world.
We won't know that, and I'll be honest with you, even Maplewood, I had to go back to the CPC for $50,000.
Yeah, because I would imagine something that was originally priced out 2 years ago is probably,
Well, she was even saying the borings were, where you said 1,500 more?
Yeah, the borings were like $1,500 more.
Yep.
Simply, and that's just
Right.
off the top of my head.
right,
So
yeah,
I-
so 2 years, I mean,
I can't
that's-
imagine that all the lighting is not gonna
Right.
increase, the electrical costs are not gonna increase, but these are the cards we were dealt.
Yeah,
I told the mayor I would
Yep.
take it on and do my best. If we need more money, then I'll either have to go to CPC or we'll have to go to the council.
Yep. And that's what happened last year. It was myself, Ms. Smith, Mr. Martins from the trees and everything, Mr. Demi from DCM. We all met with the architect and the contractors up at Maplewood when we were going over this, and we found out, and we hadn't even have DCM contacted the water department because there is water. It was like a string, like a water pipe going through Maplewood to make sure they were aware. I even did the due diligence after finding out from Ronnie. I called Paul Furlan myself from utilities, from the water and sewer, to make sure that if there's anything going through Father Kelly. Because if you guys remember, a couple of years ago when it was all the flooding at Globe Four Corners, Cook Pond, along the side of Father Kelly and that, under that sidewalk, to that brand-new sewage overflow in that Globe Four Corners. That cost millions of dollars. I wanted to make sure that we weren't gonna be hitting anything. So I made sure that when they look with the architect, Mr. Furlan's gonna be part of this and everything, to look at all the plans, the maps and that of water and, because we don't need issues later on.
DCM went out there with me, and we met with the gentleman from the sewer department, and he provided a map, and it shows the water lines, and I have forwarded that to both Rodney and the lighting company, so everyone can be aware of that. I would assume that they'll make that part of their specification package when they put it out. I mean, we're trying to do due diligence as far as we can to give the contractors that bid as much information, but the city's kind of freaky where things are, so we're, you know, even though we do our best, we gotta keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, and then, well,
because-
and the contractors have to hold up their end of the bargain. too.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
just to update you on one more thing, so when that was that project, and then the other project was the staggered, seating at North Park, that was, the mayor left that in his lap, to Mr. Olivera's lap. He's the one that's handling that project, but I believe that has to be spent by what, June?
I believe so.
So-
I don't wanna say something that I don't
Yeah,
know for
I
sure,
believe
so.
it's June of this year, but we'll see what happens with that project.
Cause that money was also
That was,
already earmarked.
that was an
wasn't it?
earmark from State Representative Iowa. So,
I don't know, that one may have more of a deadline because of it being ARPA, whatever. I know the CPC.
that wasn't, that was a state earmark money.
Oh, all right. The CPC has had contracts go over their time.
Yeah.
Do they like it?
Yeah.
No. Do they like to wrap up these contracts and things? Absolutely. And so would I.
Yeah,
I want to say that that is, that is June, because I'm working right now at my job now, that she just allocated money this past spring that we got in the fall for 4 of the sites that I have to have that money spent by June. We're trying to do it by May, so that way it gives enough time to get everything together to the state. And I know, that was 2 years ago that we got that money for that, because that came after the second that was the second the first allocation was to remove the trees and the greenery up the top, and we end up moving that over to the skating pond.
I would assume she has status update
Oh,
meetings
she
for those
does.
meetings, so she must be,
I think she's asked, I don't know.
This is going back to when Mr. Perry was here.
no,
I
but I'm
know, I
saying,
know.
like, as the deadline gets closer, I would assume
Mhm.
or hope that she's in the know of the status of the project.
To be completely
The-
honest, I
the-
think,
The December meeting, though, there wasn't really much going on.
no.
It didn't sound like,
You
I
had
don't
like
think,
an architect.
I think he had identified an architect, but I don't even
It
think
was,
there was a
they
plan.
they talked
No.
about he said,
Existing conditions plan, he said.
well, it was.
Yeah,
And
they
that's in
had-
your minutes.
He didn't,
They
there
had
was
was
no.
a landscape.
Because I remember
company
asking,
comes
because I
out.
was confused as far as like what they were doing, but it's creating seating basically out of the land that's already existing.
Yeah.
It's tiered
Like,
seating, almost
Tiered
like
seating.
steps.
Yeah,
But-
so you
but-
could have concerts
but
and
green,
stuff down there,
right.
but it wouldn't be, rather than the big cement blocks that were there,
Yeah.
it would be grass.
Right.
Right.
But it didn't sound like,
Yeah.
and I might have misremembered, but it didn't sound like that anybody had priced that out and
No.
done the work and
It
No.
was that-
What he
spec'd it
said
out
was
or
there was an
anything.
existing, they had completed an existing conditions
Yeah.
portion of that. So they went out there, they looked at what they're working with, is what I believe an existing conditions plan is. So, where it is from there, but the
Because I
board
think
can
he also
ask
said there
for.
was a couple of different options too. There was going to be.
Well, they had met out there where, he said himself, Ms. Smith, and Mr. Demme had met out there, where he was the one that's running the project, where, a landscaping contractor or something.
No,
to
the
see-
landscape architect.
A landscape
In June,
architect,
we
yeah.
met out there,
Yeah.
because as I said, all these projects were discussed. And in June, we met out there with this, because there was you know, someone asked for all of us to meet there. We all met there, and he brought a landscape architect that he was familiar with, I guess. And 2007 study of North Park, he asked me if I had that. I forwarded him the information that I had. And, we never heard anything more back. And that's when he had said something about the landscape architect had that particular firm had a problem with the landscape architect finding another one, and now they had found them, he was working on it, and he had an existing conditions. Which, when you said that, it reminded me, I'm gonna distribute this. I had said that we had, I'll keep one for myself for the record, but policies and procedures about projects and purchasing and whatever. And I believe in this, it says that to provide updates. This is something that the board can look over. We can put it on the next agenda. Amber, you might want to take a closer look since you deal with this.
Yeah.
It said, at minimum, bi-monthly updates must be provided to the board, making them aware of delays, problems, and the general progress of the projects.
That's not happening now, though.
No.
No, but this is what we've had in place, but it doesn't happen.
Yep.
So if the board wants to adopt these again and put this in the record, and then I can distribute them. This is what we have. I know it says the chairman and 3 additional board members. That's when we had a board of 7. So this would have to be the chairman and 2 additional board members to be the, what it wanted it to be was the majority of the board of signatures. So this is something that the board can take. I'll make it a part of the record that I passed it out. We can put it on next month's agenda, that we adopt these policies, and we can give them to whoever's going to be working on park projects. CPC, let them put them as part of the paperwork that they give to people that get park money. I mean, just, that's an option that we can do. But the board had asked about that last
Yep.
month, so.
Okay.
And I think that's why, like, I had told Mr. Smith that I was gonna talk to you about it. I wanted to have you really look at this, because you have that, your expertise with this. And like Commissioner McDonald came out and kinda handled the Park Drive situation and everything. I think what we should be doing too is, like, Commissioner Farias is on the CPC committee, and I think what they do is, they have someone designated to each project.
Yeah.
And I think what we should be doing is designating someone from each one of us to something to make sure it's coming back. The due diligence is getting done, because all said and done, it's coming back at us.
Yeah, just holding, just a little accountability.
Yep, yep. And so that way, when we go to council meetings, and we have the answers.
Right,
They're
well, you don't
asking-
end up with a project that you approved 2 years ago, and it's like, who's, I thought you were working on
Yep,
that, like,
And the thing is, you weren't here, Commissioner McDonald, but Commissioner Burns, Commissioner Farias will tell you, anytime in the past, when there was contracts to be signed by 2 or 3 or 4, I went around to them. I got in touch with them. She was sick, I went right to her house and that, when her previous residency, and boom, she came out, boom, signed it, went to commit. And it takes me a matter of half an hour or something like that. It's right back to them. There's no delays in that, so they can't say, oh, well, we're doing it because it was gonna, no, there's no delays. This last time for the ARPA funding, Ms. Smith got it from
Kara,
Hum, who's the ARPA coordinator, the attorney. I believe she got it on, the Friday?
back on Tuesday.
She was back on, she got it to me on the Monday, Tuesday she had it back. So there's no delays here.
Because I was off on Friday, so I
Yeah.
didn't move it.
Yep.
And I got it on Thursday, I was off on Friday,
It
so.
was a holiday.
I don't want to say I'm not telling the right
You're
thing.
fine.
So,
All right.
other than that, I think that's pretty much it. But it's just, this board has to respect what we are here for. And when everybody does that and gets on, our directors come here and they respect us and that, they update us and that. It's just certain people don't wanna, and then we have to go to the administration that, and it's, right. Administration knows
Yeah.
what our authority is and everything, and what's supposed to be done.
Let me get this back to Nancy.
And they're like pretty much
There's an
tired
extra
of
one.
hearing about it too.
I'll give it to Helen.
Yep.
That's probably Helen.
Yeah, we got some of those
All right.
in our organization.
All right, any other commissioner inquiries?
Motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second it,
You can't make the motion.
I
to-
motion.
Oh,
second it.
I didn't make I said I need.
I thought you
No,
said
no, no,
motion
no,
to
no, no,
adjourn.
no.
All right, no, I'm good.
I said I wanted a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Burns made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.